Alright, welcome back to the Ninth Circle. Here we are after a little hiatus, 3 months, and much fighting with audio on this computer. First off, what are we listening to? Memento Mori. This is Rhymes of Lunacy. So this band was started Messiah Marcolin after he left Candlemass. This is basically all the other guys in this band were in Hexenhaus. This band existed from like 92 to 97, put out 4 albums in that time, and then went back to being Hexenhaus basically, and Messiah went back to Candlemass. But that's what we're listening to, their first album by Memento Mori. Alright, this is going to be a VCLT video. I got a bunch of stuff from Simon back right before Christmas, so it's been 3.5 months, and I've been sitting on this shit for so long, wanting to make a video. But you know, sometimes you come down into your little den, and you just end up just wanting to listen to music and take it easy. Because, like I said, I don't want this turned into a job. It's meant to be relaxing and fun, and that's what it is. So I do it when I'm motivated to do it. So I'm motivated to do it. So here we go. All right. First, also, Anthony sent me this cool shirt. That was probably back in December or January as well. Metal Miner shirt here. Nice. It's a little, it's been folded, so it's a little rumpled, but anyway, that's awesome. I think Barry prints those for him. I think he does the merch on demand thing. But yeah, that's an awesome shirt. Thank you, Anthony, for sending that. All right. So there was some stuff that Simon sent that was not CDs. This pretty cool little skull ornament here, because it was a Christmas time package. So we got that. We got this awesome Iron Maiden Christmas shirt here. You'll see. I don't know if I can get it there. Yeah, really cool Iron Maiden Christmas t-shirt. On the back it says "No presents for Christmas" there. Very nice. Also, got this exploited flag. Let's start a war. Gotta love that. This was in a bag, folded up, so I have unfolded it now. Alright, also, there was a card. Let me grab the card here. Christmas card. Oh, God damn. Very cool Christmas card. And it says, "To Bill and family, hope this finds you well, my friend. Merry Christmas. Fingers crossed you'll like most of what's in here and the t-shirt fits. All the best for 2025. Thank you, Simon. Much appreciated for that. Little Cthulhu Christmas. Merry Cthulhu-miss. Alright. So, 2 boxes of stuff showed up. It was a lot of stuff, which was awesome. So, first thing, like I said, I've got it on my shelf, but I'll show you the envelope, of course. We sent me a brand new copy that was unopened. Paysage de Verre, last year's Paysage de Verre record, which is really awesome. 2 CD set in that. Everybody talked about that a lot. That was close to making my end of the year list for last year, but, there was a lot of other good stuff too. Alright, some other things here. So, we had this Absurd record. This was the one that came out last year. There are 3 versions of this band currently going. This one does not have any original members. This one had Jalal and Unhold in it. I think at one point there was an original member in it, but I think he's spawned off on his own thing. So there are literally 3 versions of this band. But this was a good album. Maybe not my favorite that I've heard by them, but it's good. Werewolf Licht is what it's called. So that was in there. Here was another. This was one of the things I won. He was doing a contest, and I won one of the entries in the contest. And this was one of the things I picked. And the other stuff I was like, just surprise me. Just send me a bunch of random stuff. This was one of the things I did win, which was this Gamma Ray Land of the Free. I don't own any Gamma Ray. And, Marty and Alan always talk about how great Gamma Ray is. So I was like, I'll take a Gamma Ray CD. This was their 1995 album. I think it's like, I want to say it's their third album, but I don't know for sure. But like I said, I have not been a Gamma Ray guy before, so I'm just curious. I was just curious to hear it. This was really cool, too. He sent me this, the Winter Eternal Frost, their 1994 EP. This is an original, obviously. Back when they would do the slim lines for EPs and singles and stuff like that. So, that's really cool. I have the full-length CD, and I also have the Svark discography double LP thing they did a few years ago, too. Probably in, I think it was 2020. Probably 5 years ago that came out. So, I've got that stuff as well. Alright, he sent me, besides those, huge stack of CDs here, as well as a bunch that are not in cases. But, so I'm going to do this real quickly. Move some of this shit around here. Try to stack this stuff without it falling. So first of all, local band, Eagle Twin, The Unkindness of Pros. I saw Eagle Twin open for Wolves in the Throne Room here 2011, so... Or no, 2009, that's when it was. Holy shit, 16 years ago, yeah. You know, they're kind of a doom band, you know. They were on Southern Lord, and they fit well on there. This one I'm not familiar with, still sealed. Elegiac, Pagan Storm. We've got this cool drawing, or pen and ink drawing of Thor battling Jormungand, the World Serpent. It's on a label called De Tenebrum Principio, so I'll be curious to hear this. Not familiar with it. This is True Widow, Alvolger. This is a band that's on, or what? I mean, is or was on Relapse. Kind of doomy, stoner doomy type stuff. Fairly good from what I remember. Again, something I didn't know, which is cool. This is a classic one. I mean, I own this on vinyl, but not on CD, so. Bathory Nordland 2, of course, you know, one of the last things that Quorthon did before his death. You know, both the Nordland albums are probably some of his best, probably his most fully realized attempt at doing kind of the Viking pagan metal thing that he was doing on Hammerheart, Twilight of the Gods. This really nails it, so cool to have a CD copy of that. Now, I mean, a lot of this other stuff I don't know. This is an interesting... I don't know what this is exactly, but the Metal Gurus, Merry Christmas, everybody. This is like a 1990 sort of charity single thing. It's like a 4-track EP. I don't know anything about this. It's something I'm going to have to look up, but interesting. Interesting. Here's another one. Amaron, Pristine in Bondage, Unlistenable. I think this band's Finnish, but I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this either. It looks like it was recorded in 2003, so explains the artwork. That has that, you know, that early digital artwork stuff. That was a ton of that was happening like in the late 90s, early 2000s. There was all that like pretty goofy looking Photoshop art, and this definitely fits that. But I'll always give it a listen, even if the artwork sucks. I'll give it a listen. It's another one, Cauldron, Mystical Fortress of Hibernian Lands. Not familiar with this band at all. Obviously black metal, but like I said, I don't know what... I have not heard this, so that'll be something to listen to. Here's another one, Awe, Providentia. This is on Pulverized, also unopened. Hard to tell what this could be. It could be black metal, it could be, you know, post-metal, sludge. Cover art doesn't really tell you what it is, but looks interesting. Here's like a super limited release by this band, Apothecary. It's number 11 out of 27 copies on this. I can't quite read what the label is. Something Abyss but it's relatively new. It was from last year, so again, could be anything. This one, I think this is... I can't even read what this is. I mean, the logo is hard to read, and it's in French. Aujourd'hui d'un soleil noir. Like, I think it's like... something about black sun. But, I mean, cool artwork and design on it. you know? All these kind of, like, sketchy, you know what I mean? Like, sketched out kind of pencil drawing kind of stuff. Looks cool. Like I said, don't know anything about it, though, so we'll be curious to hear. Here's a band, Casket, Upright Decay. Not familiar with this either. On MDB, it looks like. There's the dudes on the inside. Again, hard to tell. Could be stoner doom. Could be hard rock. Could be death metal. Who knows? Who knows? But looks interesting. Another one I'm unfamiliar with. Evil King, The Dark Age, which seems to be some sort of concept album about the Knights Templar and the Crusades. Looks like it's of like Spanish or Portuguese based on that, but I mean, again, cool artwork. You got a dragon in the background, but it's obviously the guys are dressed like Knights Templar, so interesting. Verberis, Vorent Gnosis, unpulverized as well, unopened. I mean, looks like black metal to me. Again, not familiar with it, but I will be. We've got Winter Mist, definitely a black metal record. On the same label as Cauldron, unopened. Bitter Hymns is the name of it. Cool little artwork there. This is Protrary Individualism on Indie Recordings. Again, looks like it could be black metal or Black Death. Not 100% sure. Hair getting in the face. But, yep, not familiar with that one either. Here's another one, Kolosloth, Promethean Meat. They describe it as rhythmic industrial noise, grinding and churning, drenched in crushing doom-laden guitars on Cold Spring. So, looks interesting. Like I said, it sounds cool. I'm definitely going to give that one a spin. That's still sealed. I haven't, you know. This one, Strana Officina, Rising to the Call on My Graveyard Productions. I mean, again, the cover doesn't really tell you a lot there. Guy wearing an AC/DC shirt, so I'm kind of expecting it to be some sort of hard rock deal there. Not familiar with that. This one, I mean, I'm familiar with the band, but not so much familiar with this album. So this is Om by Negura Bungit, the Romanian kind of like black metal, experimental black metal band. So I have some of their stuff. This one I don't have, so I'm excited to listen to that. Here's another one. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, probably 75% of the stuff he sent me, I literally had no idea what it was. This is another one of those. Chrono Master, the Android Messiah on Elevate Records. This is from 2022. Again, it looks like it could be some sort of sci-fi prog thing. Could be interesting. Tooth Grinder on Spine Farm. To me, you know, there's the eye there. To me, this looks like it would be like Doom or Stoner Doom, maybe kind of Mastodon sounding. Again, not familiar with it, so. This one's cool because I like the label a lot. This is Abkehr in Blut, but it's on Vendetta. Vendetta's typically puts out really good black metal, and this looks like it's probably black metal. Again, not familiar with it, but it looks like black metal, so looks cool. And then these are all bands I am from, or, you know, mostly bands I'm familiar with, unopened stuff. So Goat Blood and Nihil Domination. I've got a couple of them. There's an Australian Goat Blood, and then there's also, I think this is like the Goat Blood from the Netherlands. I have their first two records. It's kind of black death metal stuff. This is a Nihil Domination, I think is also kind of the same thing, like black death kind of stuff. So, Dunkelheit, German label, that looks cool. This one was awesome, because this I was going to buy anyway, but this is the most recent Ulcerate, Cutting the Throat of God. I have the last record by them, that's Stare to Death and Be Still, which was really it's the only album by them I've heard, and I liked it quite a bit, you know. Again, like really technical drumming, very atmospheric, death metal, cool stuff. So I'm excited to hear that. And then this one, Fen Winter. These guys were kind of more like post-black metal stuff. This is on Code 666. I have one of their albums from, I don't know, I got a fairly long time ago. Maybe that I probably bought like 15 years ago, but I remember it being decent, so I'm excited to hear that. Alright, let me grab, like I said, holy shit, there's just a ton of stuff there, so I'm going to grab those, put those back down there, and then on top of that, there were a few, oh shit, dropping stuff, but there were a few CDs, here, that he sent, this stack, that were not in cases, so I'm going to go over those real quick here. Yeah. So we've got Venede Milzis Glaze, you know, not familiar with that really at all. Let's set that there. This one, Dubbuck. I've heard some Dubbuck. That's a Dubbuck album. This one looks cool. This is Exsanguinaire, Ostra Cremosa. Artwork's really cool on that. Curious to hear that one. This one, the artwork looks cheesy as hell, but it looks fun. This band, Twilight Opera, probably some sort of gothy or symphonic type black metal, but that cover is priceless. The girl with like kind of the standing by the mountains, looking like some sort of vampire cheese ball. Looks funny though. Looks entertaining. This one, Astaroth Sklavengott, definitely looks like black metal here, but not familiar with that. This one, Corpus Christi, definitely I would say black metal. It's on Folter there. Looks pretty rad. Trap Them, which was a US band. I saw them open for Toxic Holocaust probably 16 years ago. Some of these guys, at least one of these guys was in December Wolves, but this is kind of more a little crustier. This is kind of almost like kind of a mix of like death and roll and tuned and crust metal stuff. So it's, I mean, interesting stuff. Woden's Throne. Now this one I already had, and I love Woden's Throne. This is Woden's Throne Curse, so I've already got a copy of this, so that'll definitely get passed on. That's awesome. This one, Zilvuka Abode. I'm not familiar with this band at all. Also on that same label, this is very limited, like number 19 out of 40 copies. Classic here, which I didn't actually have a version of this, but this is the Black Winter Day CD EP on Relapse and Nuclear Blast from, I think this is, I'm pretty sure it's an OG. And then lastly, this Cenobites No Paradise for the Damned on a label called Rebellion Records from Holland. Kind of goofy artwork, but I mean, again, interesting. So tons of cool shit to dig into here, so I'm excited about that. So yes, thank you, Simon, thank you, Anthony, much appreciated. Super cool stuff here. Again, I mean, I would apologize for the fact that it's been 3 fucking months since I've released a video, but you know, like I said, you get busy. You got other shit going on. Stuff still going, you know, doing stuff with the band. Trying to record. Just trying to, everybody to kind of decide which way we're going to go. Whether we're going to go more raw or kind of go record at the same place we did. And then also just the money side, because that all kind of precipitates that. We all got fucking lives. We all got responsibilities, all that shit. So I appreciate anybody that sticks around. Anybody that, you know, still continues to watch, even though, like I said, I'm far from reliable with putting out content on a regular basis. So I appreciate you, and I will see you again soon in the 9th Circle.